Perfect.
Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie. Support Abby's Window. Get a Shenanigans shirt. Whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special edition of Between the Ropes. This just might be a milestone edition here for us tonight, as I could see as many people as that are out there already. Geez, Jeff, I wonder what the heck we could talk about tonight, man. I just don't know. It was so hard. It was so hard for Jeff to come up with a script and for us to come up with stuff to talk about. I just don't know, Jeff. We're really going to have to struggle here to figure out something to say.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on. I think I'm hearing something. Hold on. Oh, okay. I think I know where we're going with this show.
Yeah, man, it's just so hard for us to get. Oh my God. Wow. So what a weekend of wrestling that it was. And, Jeff and I, obviously we were enjoying the holidays and stuff like that. And I hope you guys all did too. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. Of course, if you celebrated it, I checked out the Impact thing on Thursday, which was kind of cool. They showed it at the turkey suit matches, which was hilarious. Yeah. So enjoyed that. And then, Friday we had a little SmackDown before the pay-per-view. And then all hell broke loose on Saturday night, very late Saturday night, as the clock ran down on the show. Jeff, I'm kind of thinking Triple H kind of likes to do post-credit, or he must like post-credit scenes in movies. He must kind of dig that. Because you all know out there that we got that once before with one Bray Wyatt as well, as a post-credits scene I'm telling you, and we'll get into all of this, but of course, when I was watching it, so kind of first impressions, when I was watching it and I saw the time, I always look at the time, and there was a good 17 minutes left of that show when that match ended. And I thought to myself, they're not going off the air without this. And then I started to get this little sinking kind of pit and thing in my stomach, thinking to myself, oh no. And I'm like, Oh man, am I gonna get? Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. And then of course, yeah, the thing we're here for, the thing we all want to talk about, the thing the whole wrestling world is talking about. Jeff, they all know, it's the return of R Truth. No,
Yeah.
right? It's the return of R Truth. That's why we're here tonight.
That's right. Hey,
Our good friend R Truth that follows us on the socials. R Truth return, right? I mean, that's why we're all here, right? R Truth is back. He looks awesome, Jeff. He got the slick new haircut going on. He looks like he's ready to be in charge of backstage, man.
yeah, I mean, that's why we're here, right? I mean,
Oh, I only for my own sake, I only kind of wish that maybe that was why we're here. But yeah, listen, you guys all know why we're here, right? You guys are all here tonight. We might have a record crowd in here. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? We'll start like we always do, and we'll dig right in because we've got a lot to say about a lot of stuff, as I'm sure you do as well. I told you all to bring your thoughts because we're going to read some of that out tonight. Also, it's going to be a little bit of a different formatted show because of what we've got to talk about and things like that. So we're not necessarily going to be going into it. First of all, I will say we have no grievances this week, and they won't be a part of this one because, again, it is just a lot of big stuff that went on, and that's what we're going to talk about primarily here tonight. So yeah, so there's that. Schedules upcoming. Do we have Abby's this week, Jeff? Is it tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Okay. All right. So Abby's Abode is Tuesday. So make sure you join them for that. That will be 6:00, same time.
Yep, 6 o'clock.
Okay, 6:00, same time on Tuesday. So make sure you join them for that. This week on Impact at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time is IPWF, which should be a hell of a lot of fun. That's always a blast to watch. Come out and check that out with us. We don't get to watch that sometimes. Of course, it's been pre-recorded, but that will be a blast. And so come out and join us for that on Thursday. Very fun stream that will be. And then do we have another pay-per-view? I think we do. We do.
Final Resolution is coming up.
Yeah, we have a pay-per-view on Saturday. Final Resolution for Impact is this coming Saturday already. So yeah, so we'll have a pay-per-view this week as well. So lots of stuff going on. But okay, all that said, let me talk to you. Let me see what we got in the chat here. I don't think I'm going to read because we've got a lot of people. Little Silver is here. John G. Tazzy. Hey, Tazzy. What's up, Tazzy? How are you? Brandon. We've got James Grant. We've got Dalton Riley is here. We got Clown is here. I'm trying to go really fast, so I'm going to end up skipping people. I know I am. We've got Dylan. We've got Jason Peace. We've got Anthony Slade. Of course, Anthony's a member of the channel. We have Raven Mathers. Hello to you. We have Deanna is here. Hey, Deanna. We have Big Dan. We have Alexa Bliss Gamer. We have Andrea. We have Brandon. We have Nathan. We have Bonus Baby. We've got Jason. I said John G. We have Barry Monkey. Yeah, could have been about Jay Vidal losing as well. The turkey match. Yes, we could have done that. We could have been talking about that. Yes, that was funny though. Odinson is here. We've got. Let's see if I'm missing anybody yet. Tony. Hello, Tony. How are you? Tony said a 5 out of 5. I'm sure you're not the only one that has handed that out for that show last night. All in all, it was a very good show, and we'll get to our thoughts on that. Damien's here. Hey, Damien, Noob and Company is here. Hell has frozen. Yeah, we'll get to that tweet also. We've got Sean. We've got Alicia. Hello. We've got Rare Kitty. We've got a whole crowd here. All right. Well, Jeff. Let's see. We're gonna go, man. Breaking news, right? I've got some breaking news. There actually is some breaking news on top of all of this. So, as we all know, the news had broken and everything like that, and the news got a little more involved today. And some of the stories that have been reported, and again, I'm not going to quote the various different places because most of them kind of reported similar stuff. Wrestling Inc., I will say I may have gotten this from, but apparently there were two bits and pieces. One, and I'm sure you all saw this after the arrival of a certain someone, there was a little bit of an altercation with a Mr. Seth Rollins, who was hanging out outside of the cage after their match when he came out. And, Michael Cole was there and a whole bunch of others were there, and they kind of had to restrain him as he was.
You could say it looked like he was ready to.
Yeah, it looked like he was ready to kind of run up the aisle, and we saw some birds being flipped there, and it looked like he was very, very upset by one's arrival. And we saw another bird being flipped by Rhea Ripley. Lots of bird flipping going around, and the other bit of news that I don't know if you guys heard of, but we also had Drew McIntyre, who headed straight to his locker, put on his hoodie, and walked out of the arena. No words said, walked out of the arena. And so there's that as well. Now, whether these are all related to the appearance of a certain someone, well, we know Seth was, and probably Rhea. As far as Drew, that's yet to be determined. But what had been reported is that certain people were told about this appearance. And the two of the people that had supposedly been told were Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. So we can speculate all we want what that may be about. We all know the contract status of Drew. He has not been re-signed as at least as far as anyone knows. So put two and two together, and people are going to do a lot of speculating. But this was the breaking news from last night, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. So a lot of things, a lot of stuff going on here after this whole big event happened. So that was pretty much the breaking news, because you knew people were going to dig into this. All of the wrestling people were talking today as to everything that happened and stuff like that. And the one thing, Jeff, that I want to start this with before we get into the nitty gritty of the show here, and I posted this last night, Jeff, the one cool thing about this, no one knew. You may have thought you knew, and a lot of you in the chat were under the impression that this was going to happen. But no one came out and confirmed it. So, and now you're hearing reports that it happened maybe an hour prior to the end of the show, or maybe an hour prior to the show. You're going to hear all kinds of different stuff. But Jeff, what do we say all the time on our show? The coolest thing about wrestling is when it's not spoiled. Jeff did this exact subject on his grievance last week, as a matter of fact. Wrestling is better when it's not spoiled. How cool was the moment last night? And it was because no one knew. Everyone was surprised, even though, yes, a lot of people may have thought it was going to happen, right? But it did. So, yeah. We're going to lead off here. Raven, we are definitely going to be talking about Randy Orton. There is no question about that. We're going to lead off with the big story. We are definitely Randy is definitely on our list. We are not overlooking what Randy Orton did. Jeff and I were just talking about that before the show came on. So there is no doubt we are not going to, this is not going to be just spending, however long we're here talking about Randy Orton, because that would do a huge disservice to him. So we are going to get to that. There's no doubt in our minds, but everyone's here. We do have to kind of start with the big thing. So, but anyway, Jeff, it was not spoiled, which was amazing in this day and age of wrestling. But there you see it. CM Punk is back in WWE. We had someone say hell had frozen over. There was a little tweet from Triple H. We all know that when hell freezes over quote, well, apparently hell froze over in Chicago last night. There was the tweet from Triple H right up there. So he's back. We're going to get into the logistics of it and things like that. Whether you love this, maybe you don't like it so much. It's a very polarizing kind of thing, and he's a polarizing kind of dude. So there's going to be people who do, there's going to be people who don't. But after the pay-per-view ended, like I said, I watched the clock. I knew there was time left, and I'm like, oh, man. And then the music came on. Out came CM Punk to a raucous Chicago crowd. Kind of did a little stutter step there, was taking it all in for a little bit. And then, of course, yelled out the "It's clobber in time." And whose city is this? I think he said as well. But guys, CM Punk is back. And if you would have told me about 5 months ago, maybe 6, 7 months ago, that this would have been a reality today, I would have probably said you were absolutely a liar. But wrestling this is why, Jeff, wrestling is so good, because you just don't know what is going to happen. This was a shocker to the wrestling world. This made headlines on ESPN Sports Center. This made headlines in big-time newspapers today. This is huge. CM Punk is back. He's going to be on Raw on Monday. They already announced that along with Randy Orton. Where this goes, I have no idea, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that speculative part of it too. But man, oh man, like him or not, Jeff, he's back.
And the other thing I want to say is too, love him or hate him, you had some form of reaction last night. If you were watching this, you had some form of reaction when you watched the clips of it. So I know every time I've watched it, I've really gotten goosebumps, because it's such a surreal moment, because one, how everything ended, two, and I'm talking about how everything ended in WWE when he left there almost a decade ago. Then you think about everything that he said once he got out of WWE, and some of the podcast and other things, and the tensions back and forth, and they did him dirty too. I mean, let's be honest. So he was justified, but then he got to AEW, and he said the things there, and it's like, okay, this is never going to happen again, never. And it happened, and I was done. I mean, I'm still kind of in shock, because it's just like, it's one of those things that you never think will happen, but it does. And then the beauty of it is, no one spoiled it, no one knew. It was kept secretive, and I love that. That's one of the things that makes professional wrestling so great, is when you're able to pull off the element of surprise. Is fantastic. So I'm glad they were able to keep this under wraps and really surprise the wrestling world.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like Jeff said, it is extremely hard to keep surprises from people in this day and age, with social media, with everything that's out there. And they did. The nice thing, I was listening to a show. Busted Open now does a Sunday show. I was listening to a little bit of it today, and they were talking about how this arena in particular is filled with a lot of entrances, as most arenas are. But people are wondering, well, how the hell did they sneak them in? You could kind of do that in most of arenas, because they all have kind of little maintenance doors, back doors, and stuff like that. You can easily get somebody in there without anybody really noticing. You get them in the back area where only security and stuff can go. But yeah, man, look. This is why a lot of you did speculate. And those of you who were correct, you're patting yourselves on the back today, because a lot of people, of course, did speculate, because this was in his hometown. It was in Chicago. It would have been the perfect place, of course, for this to happen. And you were all 100% right. Those of you who did predict it and did say that this was going to happen, you are correct. But like Jeff said, you kind of have to look back to look forward. And this is why this is going to be a bit polarizing to people, because there are a lot of fans who took umbrage with some of the things he said. he really let WWE have it, saying that their doctors were negligent there. And I don't know if you noticed, but when Triple H did his little presser last night, he mentioned how, and this was in reference to Randy Orton, of course, because they asked, how did Randy get cleared? And of course, the Triple H said, I would put my faith into our doctors above all else, and I have complete 100% faith in them. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that's a little bit of a sly little retort, because we all know that how CM Punk kind of trashed the WWE's doctors, saying that they were negligent and intending to him and stuff like that. So, yeah, there are going to be a lot of this is going to be really crazy to see. And we had AEW and their big announcements, right? We had Will Ospreay sign there, and of course we had Ronda show up there. And then WWE kind of throws a big, humongous counterpunch here with this, and along with a returning Randy Orton and R Truth coming back. So it's punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch, and that's kind of cool too, because again, we've mentioned this and how they make each other better when they do this kind of thing. And it's just going to make fans happier because of what's going on. I honestly, and we're going to get to this later too, I didn't think it would. And I don't think I was the only one who didn't think so. And the reason was because of the past. Sometimes you get to a point where you just burn your bridges, and the bridges don't allow you to come back. You can't come back from it when you're too far gone. But the information that Triple H gave us last night was he sells merch. He is a prominent name in the business. And one of the cool things I like too that he said was, when our fans want something, or when our fans ask for something, that is what's important to him. That's big. That's a big thing, because and some were saying that this would not have happened had Vince been in charge. And I don't know. I would kind of tend to agree that they might be right about that. I don't know that he would have done this or brought this back, because I think Vince, a little more pride, maybe doesn't see the bigger picture sometimes, and you burn a bridge with him, and I think sometimes it's a little hard for him to give way and suck it up and say, okay, we're going to bring this guy back. So yeah, Jeff, I mean, it shocked the world. He is back. And, we're going to see where we go from here, which we'll talk about, a little bit later in the show. But I mean, again, the socials were off the charts all day today. People are just shocked, stunned, pissed off, thrilled, happy, like every gamut of emotion is out there on the socials from every different person that's out there. Obviously, the Punk fans, the people who are just fans of him, are thrilled. They're absolutely thrilled that he's back, and just because they get to see him wrestle again in WWE. So, Jeff, we're gonna keep going on this, a lot later on. But what are some of your thoughts about this, just overall, like bigger picture overall?
I think it comes back to business. And if you think about their promo, I think it was back in 2011, that segment that they had that a lot of people like to reference when it comes to their issues. It's about business. It's about getting the most eyes on their product. And that's what this was. I think when you get to a certain point, you have to put the personal stuff aside, the past past disagreements, those kinds of things. Look at what's best for business, what's going to make us profitable, so people can see us, so we can create more stars, so we can, do a lot of things that help us out and give, ultimately give the fans what they want.
Yeah.
Which Triple H really reiterated. So I think this is great for business. I know we're gonna get into the stuff with Seth a
Mhm.
little bit, and I'm really excited to talk about that because I want I really want to share something from like the wrestling psychology side of it that I feel like might help people understand what's going on. But yeah, this is huge. I mean, this is something that we never thought we'd see again, honestly. And it just goes back to the saying, never say never. And I mean, that's that's where we are right now. I mean, I don't know what timeline this is that we're currently in where CM Punk is back in WWE, but hey, here we are.
It's really funny because it was almost like we were saying this kind of exact same thing about when Cody Rhodes showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of this crazy stuff that just continues to happen that we never ever would have thought would ever happen. And yeah, now, next thing you know, everybody's going to be fantasy booking. They already are. Where they want to see this go. But I think honestly, I don't know any specifics. I don't know that we'll ever know any specifics because that may not ever come to pass. But I have to say, and I think a lot of people are agreeing on this, is that he wants to do what Cody's doing. He wants to accomplish his goals that he set out when he became a WWE superstar. And I would have to imagine one of them is main eventing a WrestleMania. He talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
Saying how that one of his gripes was that he was going to supposed to end up wrestling Triple H, and it wasn't going to be a spotlight match. It was, on the undercard, and he wasn't, thrilled about that. But I got to imagine that that's going to be one of his big goals. Is that, and they talked about that on that Busted Open show today too. Is that how so many people that have been in WWE over the years that have fallen out of favor. How many of them have been brought back into the Hall of Fame? You've seen the Ultimate Warrior, who really fell out of favor with WWE. Bret Hart, who had so many grievances against the company, but yet they all end up coming back at some point, and they all end up going into the WWE Hall of Fame. So chances are this guy would have too, regardless of the status and things like that, just because of his accomplishments. So I would imagine that that's what it is. I would imagine he wants to do kind of what Cody's doing. He has an idea of what he wants to accomplish, whether that be main eventing a Mania match, whether that be winning another title or whatever it might be. We know what Cody's is. That's kind of what I think that it's going to be, and we'll see. We'll see how is Monday's going to be a must-watch Raw. I could tell you that, because it'll be very interesting to see how he comes out. A lot of people are going to wonder, is he going to be very similar to his character was before? Is he going to be a heel? Is he going to be a face? Is he going to be both? Is he going to be just his own guy like he was before, and all that kind of stuff? So Raw is going to be very interesting to see how he comes out. And I imagine they'll probably lead off the show with him, I would guess. But in any case, like I said, like it or not, Punk is back in WWE. So yeah, I mean that was absolutely biggest headline of the pay-per-view. But there was more, and we're going to turn to some of that now, Jeff. And we mentioned him earlier. Let's talk a little bit about this. I absolutely love this guy, man. I am so glad to see R Truth back. One of my favorite superstars in the WWE. He's been around for so long. He's carried so many of the craziest times we've seen on his back. Remember that 24/7 stuff that used to go on every single week? I know a lot of people want to forget. But you can't deny that R Truth is such a great personality. He's got a great sense of humor, makes us laugh. And that's rare to find in people every now and then. And man, the guy can wrestle. I don't know what they're going to use him for. Maybe he's at the point in his career where he might be want to be a little bit of a backstage guy. Maybe he's going to help them produce some stuff backstage, which I can totally see that happening. But very, very happy to see R Truth back last night backstage. And and maybe he'll get more involved with the Tozawa stuff. He was involved, obviously, we remember with Tozawa with the 24/7 stuff before, so maybe he gets involved with the, with those guys and whatever the case might be. But glad to see R Truth back, Jeff. I know you love him as well. He's such a great personality, and happy to see him back in action, whether it's going to be in the ring or some stuff he might be doing behind the scenes.
Man, anytime you can have a guy like R Truth around, it is just great for your locker room, great for your company. Um, aside from the stuff he does on screen where he's funny and making people laugh with ruffles and all of that stuff like
Yo,
yesterday. Or he's talking about little Jimmy and where's
oh
little
my God,
Jimmy and
dude.
John Cena being his hero and all. I
Oh,
mean, there's just so much stuff. So, but he also brings a level of knowledge and understanding to the locker room that I think people kind of dismiss because of the kind of character he portrays on screen. This guy he's so knowledgeable and his mind for the business is so underrated. So I hope people start to really think about, how valuable he is an asset to the professional wrestling business as a whole and everywhere he's been. So yeah, I'm glad to see him back.
yeah, no doubt. He's great for WWE. I'd imagine he's great for the locker room. He seems just like a wonderful person, and that's much needed back there. I'm sure he's definitely a locker room leader, and whatever he gets involved in, it brings a smile to people's face. And I've said that before. That's hard to do, especially in this day and age. So I think it's great that he's back. Happy to see him back. We got some really great, like I said, the CM Punk thing headlined it, but we got some really great stuff last night. And let's go right into the next person because
Yeah.
mentioned earlier in the chat, this cannot be overlooked. This guy, man, oh man, Randy Orton. We didn't really know what was going on. They were saying he wasn't in the building. And by the way, imagine that picture that Jeff has right there. Put some curly hair on that dude, and you tell me that he doesn't look like his father. The thicker neck now, and come on, man. He looks fantastic. He is jacked. Looks just unbelievable. And all the people who were watching him come in when he finally came down the ring, boy, he really held out too, didn't he? He's not here, he's not here, he's not here. And then they're waiting. Everybody's waiting on bated breath. And then all of a sudden the music hits and he comes down to the ring and oh my God, just looked amazing. Have to admit, I was a little nervous when he did that first draping DDT, those first couple things where he landed on his back, but he popped right back up. And man, you can just tell the smile on his face that he was having a complete blast in there. And guys, what you got to understand here is that when you're told as an athlete, and I was never an athlete, so I can't even understand this, but when you're told that you probably can't do what you love anymore, that has to be one of the worst things ever. We hear this story from people like Edge and other wrestlers that were out of the business for a while because they were told you can't do this anymore. And then they overcome the odds, they train, they get ready, they get prepared, and then they make it back. And not only did he make it back, they won the match. He confronted Jey Uso, which was a really cool thing. I thought, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, here comes the Viper. Randy's going to snake him. He didn't do that. But wow. I am so glad. Listen, the wrestling business, WWE, is just a better place with Randy Orton. It just is. We know what he was doing before with the tag team stuff and of course single stuff. I'm hoping that he gets another run at a title at some point. Jeff said to me before the show started, Jeff, you said that you read he wants 10 more years, man.
Yeah.
crazy dude, but he looks just incredible. So glad to see that he's back. So glad to see that he's healthy, and so glad to see that he's having fun. And you want a little breaking news on Randy? And Jeff mentioned this too, and you can see it out there. It's all over the socials. But Randy Orton stuck around after the show and did a whole ton of autographs with people pretty much until the people left the arena. That's pretty amazing. This guy is the superstar of all superstars and certainly doesn't have to do that. He could walk out of the arena and no one would think anything less of him. And he stuck around and did a huge impromptu kind of autograph session with a bunch of people that were in the arena. That's pretty awesome. This guy is special. He's a one of a kind. He's a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. And I am just thrilled that Randy is back. And we're going to hear from him on Monday night as well, along with Mr. Punk. Randy's going to come out and talk too. So we're going to hopefully get some ideas about where Randy Orton is going when he comes back. But Jeff, what a wonderful moment for him. Must have been tremendous when he got that call out. They delayed him a little bit. And then when that music hit, man, those goosebumps and stuff that he had must have been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, man, he looked good. He looked really good. It was good to see him back. And it's crazy because I guess I didn't realize just how long he had been gone until I really started to think about it. And I mean, he's been gone a while.
Yeah.
And the back injury, just, I mean, it ends most careers, and there was so much uncertainty before. But man, to see him back, it was great to see him back. And I will say this. I'm not at all upset with the big story that people are coming out of Survivor Series with.
Yeah.
Being CM Punk. But I will say I kind of hate that Randy didn't have that moment in the sun, so to speak. I mean, he definitely got the pop. Everyone was happy to see him, but I wish he would have had a little bit more time in the sun with that moment because he's so deserving of it, I think. But I mean, being who he is and how he's operated in the business, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was just absolutely fine with it. I know I saw a video of him earlier when Punk was at the top of the ramp and he waved at Randy, and Randy was sitting down and waved back. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, he was sitting down inside of the cage, actually on the ground or on the floor of the ring, and you could see, Punk was doing a wave, and he did a wave back. So, man, it's just this. Like I said, WWE just needs Randy Orton. It just does. He's so good at what he does. You can match this guy up against anybody. He can do anything for you. He can do face. He can do heel. It doesn't matter. He's a legend in this business. He's so good at what he does, like I said, and just absolutely iconic at this point in his career. And like I said, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know where he's going to go next. But I do hope at some point, and who knows, maybe we got a little bit of foreshadowing with him and Mr. Punk. If he happens to get his wish and win a title, CM Punk does, maybe we get a little bit of, and what a story that would make, wouldn't it? What a story that would make, wouldn't it? If CM won the title and then Randy comes after him a little bit and says, "Hey, man, cool for you, but I was there that night too." What a nice little angle that would be, and what a wonderful match that would be as well. So it was just awesome, man. It was awesome after awesome after awesome. That cage match was beautiful, and that's going to segue us, Jeff, right into the whole entire damn show.
Because I mean, contrary to popular belief, there was a great PLE, whatever you want to call it these days.
Dude.
It was great, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, what a night last night was, man. I mean, the matches were look, and I know, the first people, the people are going to say, well, you had some matches on there that were, yeah, you could easily say who was winning. Nobody ever expected the Miz to beat Gunther and, and other results that we got. But look, we just had some great stuff happen at that show last night, and it wasn't just the end, and it wasn't just the men's match. The women's War Games match was fantastic as well. The men's was good before it even happened. Rhea, of course, retaining her title, but that was a fantastic match. And how about this? How about this? Who would think we'd see someone flying inside of a garbage can, and how she did that with the pulley and everything, getting the can up there. And then there are so many ways that you can count that this could have backfired on her.
Oh yeah.
So many ways. So thankfully it all went well. But man, this match was incredible. And of course, we had so many moments in this. Charlotte and Becky kind of hugging it out, and going forward. And this was just an incredible match. And how about Bayley showing out? Bayley kind of held up her team. She was pretty much the one that was, probably doing the most damage over there. So I don't know if maybe that's going to make for part of that storyline too, that a lot of people think Bayley's going to get the boot. Maybe they might say she tried to outshine them or something along those lines. But so many things can come out of this. This is why Survivor Series is so much fun now, because they can take those matches and develop different storylines out of all of them. All of them. The men's match, a lot of people are going to forget about the men's match too. I mean, besides the Orton return, besides everything else going on, you almost had a cash in, Jeff. There was almost a title cash in that. Seth was down and out. Rhea Ripley comes flying down to the ring with that briefcase. There was almost a cash in. And had it not been for Randy Orton, and this could make for a storyline too, Randy could come out and say, yo, Seth, it weren't for me, you might have lost your belt last night. So many things going on, Jeff. I think Gunther has established himself as a prime candidate. Maybe Gunther, a lot of people are saying Gunther may win the Rumble, which could very well happen. But it does seem like Gunther has established himself as one of the greatest all time. We already know he's got that record, and he was in there with a very game Miz. Miz looked very good. Miz looked really, really good in that match. But Gunther goes over, he beats a legend, and that's another big step in his career as well. So it was a really, really good show last night. All the surprises, all the shocks at the end, notwithstanding, there was great stuff to see during this. And then, of course, Judgment Day, the picture there. Cody Rhodes in that match, holding up his good friend's hand at the end there. Randy and Cody together in the ring. It was just so many moments in this. I'd have to say this would have been hard not to give this. We always score the shows on our paper or on our watch alongs. Would have been really tough to not give this a 10 out of 10, notwithstanding even the big surprise at the end. This was just a really good show, Jeff.
Yeah. This really was. But I gotta say, Tony just brought this up. That RKO.
Oh my God.
I mean, are you kidding me?
From the top of the cage, dude. That was amazing.
I mean, okay. All-time RKOs out of nowhere. Does that make your top 10?
Yeah, I wouldn't think it has to.
Let us know in the chat. But yeah, that one was good, man. And you know what? McDonough, he deserves it. Ever since Cody Rhodes called him a Funko Pop head, I can't unsee it. I see it every time now. So I just, it was, that one was crazy. So, it was one of my favorites. Him and Seidel, when he did the shooting star press off the top rope, when he hit that one, that was one of my favorites. But yeah, he's just, man, that was crazy. But yeah, that it was such a good night. And you can argue. I mean, let's be honest, Joe. Let's be honest. as bad as I feel for some of the folks on that card last night, especially Randy and Truth, as bad as I feel for them with being overshadowed, when would it have been a good time to do this and it not have done that the same thing, had the same result of being overshadowing? Because if you do it at the Rumble, it's going to overshadow the Rumble.
Yep.
If I mean, when would have been a good time for that? So as much as I hate the fact that it did that and it took away from a great card, I mean, it it's got you talking about Survivor Series, and more people are probably going to watch it over the next little bit. But I mean, I know Little Silver saying he should have come back on Raw. Would you have done that though? I mean, if you're thinking about it from a business perspective,
Yeah, I don't
you
think so.
bring him back on a free show on a random Monday night and not hype it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
So I just just another perspective, but yeah, I thought it was a great Survivor Series. I always enjoy Survivor Series, but this one is one of my favorites. I've got to say, just because there's so many different storylines. I mean, not just great matches, but storylines that come out of this. And I want people to understand this too. The Miz, he may be all fun and games. You may enjoy his comedic stuff, but the dude can work. And if you're being honest, if you've been following him since he got into the WWE, would you have ever thought that he'd hit this level of in-ring ability, microphone? I mean, put it all together. He's the total package. He really is. And I don't think he gets enough credit. He is a legend as well. He's an all-time great. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I gotta give him his flowers because man, the Miz is tremendous, and that match last night with Gunther was just brilliant. It was just brilliant.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Everything you said, no doubt. Conrad's here. Hello to anyone who has come in that we haven't seen. We got a lot of people here tonight, which thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate it. Yeah, no doubt. And don't forget, you also had Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is going to be a hell of a wrestler for many time, for a long time to come. That was a very good match as well between those two. Yeah, those of you who are new, we don't do this much throughout this, but please like and subscribe. Like the video if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that notification bell to be notified about when we've got our future content. So please do all that as well. But yeah, it was just a great show, really. It really was. And think of how Survivor Series has come, how far it's come. Going back to the War Games thing really kind of reinvigorated, because it was kind of a dead show for a while. It was the one show every year everybody thought, bah. You remember when they come back from Saudi and they're like, what do you got left? Well, we got Survivor Series. It was never anything that anybody was looking forward to, until all of a sudden the War Games just reignited it all. And now you're going back to like what Dusty Rhodes used to do. So what obviously Cody's dad was doing back in the day. And Survivor Series was always one of the top 4 of the year. So I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it gets the recognition it deserves. It gets the matches it deserves. And I'm glad it's back in prominence, because it really should be. It always was. And I'm glad it was awesome last night for more than just one thing. Just a lot of things happened at that show that made it really, really good. So, all right, folks. This would normally be where we have airing of grievances.
Oh, this is fun.
And I'm sure a lot of you have probably come out for maybe one reason in particular. Yeah, I think it's probably time. I did promise you all. And if you're not familiar with this, maybe you're not familiar with what this means if you're younger, but eating crow is a kind of maybe a little bit of an older statement now. You don't hear it used as much anymore, but usually it's when someone has to admit something didn't go exactly what they thought, or what they thought it was going to be, especially when maybe a majority of other people were saying that it was going to be this way. And so this is the part of the show where I have to admit that I was. Wait a minute, hold on. I got something stuck in my throat. Give me a second. I was. Hold on. It's hard for me to get this clear here. I was. I'm not sure what's happening here. I just something.
Joe, maybe this will help you get it out. I don't know. Hold on.
Okay.
Maybe this will help you get it out.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Dan got it. I said not too many people may get that homage that I was doing right there to Fonzie from Happy Days. But yes, I am big enough to admit that I was wrong. I was wrong.
Oh,
won't be the first time, won't be the last, I'm sure, in my life, but I was 100% wrong. And for all of you who said that it was going to happen, take a bow. And I have to tip my cap to all of you because I was 100% wrong on this one. You were all correct. And so I have to kind of eat it. And I've got my plate in front of me, and I've got to kind of eat it. So again, yeah, Jeff and I were laughing about this before the show started because we may end up keeping that graphic.
yeah.
Because again, it's not going to be the first time that I'm going to do that. I'm sure that that's going to happen, and again and again down the road, because this thing that we do with wrestling is very unpredictable, and so I'm sure this isn't going to be the first time that I would have to come out and publicly admit. Alicia apparently didn't hear it, so I have to say it again.
Oh boy.
I was wrong.
And this helped him. This helped him.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's the cure.
I'm going to cringe whenever I hear that music playing. When he comes out on Monday on Raw, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm just going to get that. You know that feeling you get when you have real bad indigestion? I'm just going to get it. It's just going to crop right up in my throat. They want you to clip it, me saying I was wrong. Look at this.
Oh boy. All right.
Oh my God. Now it's going to be all over the internet. It's going to be a meme now. People are going to be saying, look, it's a meme of Joe saying he was wrong. Oh my God.
It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing.
Oh, that may have been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do online. But yes, I have a big plate of crow, and I did have to eat it. So again, all of you, I know there were more than one. I know James Grant. James Grant was calling me out on Twitter. A lot of you other people were as well, saying that he's going to show up. Joe, you were wrong. I see. I still can't say it. But yes, I had to take my turn, and I had to come out and say that you were all right, and I was. I can't get it. I just can't. I can't get it. It's just hard for me to even come back again and again. I just can't get it. I just can't get it. But
well, Joe, I'm gonna have the comment on the screen up when I clip this because this is pretty good. Bonus baby saying, "Look in my eyes. What do you see? Joe eating crow on TV." Hey.
That's not funny. Yes, it is.
Pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
It is kind of funny. It is. Oh, now Tazzie's saying he's hearing static. Oh my God, dude, this is bad. This is just bad. Oh,
We all have those times
you're gonna
where
get all right. Okay, are you ready? You're gonna get one more
all right,
from me, and we're gonna move on. Ready?
we're gonna
Hold
move
on.
on.
I was wrong. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Got another good one too. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Joe was wrong with his theory.
Very nice. Very nice. I'll never live it down. I'm sure I'll hear about this until the last one of these shows we ever do. But oh man, hey, it was worth it. It was worth it. I could
Hey,
suck it up for you guys. It was worth it. So yes,
it's
got to
all
eat a
good.
little crow. I'll never, man. I was arguing bad too. I know James Chadwick's not here tonight. He has to sleep. He's it's late over there. But James was really the one who was pushing this in the chat that night, and he's like, Joe, I'm telling you, he's going to be there. He's going to be there. I'm like, no, he's not. It's not going to happen. I was vehemently arguing with him, and I'm like, no, he is not going to show up. It is not going to happen, and I'm going to tell you why. And I started listing off my reasons, like I actually knew what I was talking about. Which makes it look even worse now. So, but yeah, yeah, like I said, won't be the first time, won't be the last. So, there you go. That wasn't so hard. It was. You don't even know the half of it, Tazzy, how hard that was to do. Fonz jumped the shark, grew a beard, and became a teacher. You can say that word. You're right. That's true. Fonzie got past it, so can I, right? The coolest man ever alive on television gets past it. I can do that too. So, all right. Well, there you go. That was the eating crow segment of our show. You know what's funny, Jeff? They'll probably like the eating crow segment more than grievances. They're probably going to demand that I eat crow on a weekly basis more than the grievances section. That's what's
Here's
going to
what I
happen.
want to say. Eating crow is not just for Joe. It's gonna be for me too, because I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So there are times I need to eat some crow. So I will be partaking in the crow eating from time to time, I'm sure. Liam saying we need a shirt.
Liam wants to get Liam wants you to design a logo with me and like a big visage of my face with like a mouth wide open and just a crow like yeah something along those lines. That could you imagine if Jeff designs a logo or something like that, and all of a sudden he sticks it on a T-shirt, and our T-shirt starts selling, and everybody buys the Joe Eating Crow T-shirt? Oh my God. The amount of crow people have eaten today is funny. Yeah, I'm sure now I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I'm going to join a whole bunch of people that were probably doing the same thing today. But it was fun. And I don't mind sharing it with all of you because you are our family. And so I don't mind sharing it with all of you. Do I admit defeat? As many times as I can say, look, Dalton still wants me to keep going. How many more times must I say it, Dalton? You don't believe me? Oh my God. Oh man. All right. All right. I've been
Let's get to
shamed.
a couple. Yeah, you've been shamed.
I've been
You've eaten
shamed
enough
enough. I think
crow.
we can move on to sell or no sell now.
You've eaten enough crow for the evening. So so we'll go to sell or no sell.
I have to admit it was a good change up from turkey though. I am a little tired of turkey, so
Yeah.
we're moving on to sell or no sell, guys. Play along with us in the chat, please. You guys know how this works. If you're new to this show and you don't come out and watch it very often or have not watched it before, if you're new totally, we pick 3 topics and we basically say whether we're going to sell them or no sell them. Actually, I think we have 2. So we're going to sell. Yeah. So we're going to do these topics and we're going to sell or no sell. You guys play along. You tell us what you think is the answer to this. So topic number 1, CM Punk returning to WWE is one of the top returns of all time in wrestling. Now, this is not just WWE, but this is all of wrestling. So the top returns. So you're talking about returns like got to think back. Returns like Jericho's return, Y2J. You're talking about Bray, God rest his soul, Bray Wyatt's big return that he had, and what some people said was one of the best returns they've ever seen. So many returns throughout the ages that there have been in wrestling. Wrestlers that were gone and came back to wrestling. Is it one of the top returns all time in pro wrestling? Sell or no sell? Jeff, I'll let you start, man. What are you saying?
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna debut a new I love it
Okay.
button this week. So
Nice.
got a couple of them I'm gonna try out. We'll see which one sticks. I
Nice.
think it is one of the biggest returns of all time. I do. Because I think, and Misfit is bringing up a great point, and I know Conrad pointed it out. The AEW return after he had been gone from wrestling for 7 years, I believe, at that time. I mean, but this one was up there too. I mean, because think about it. We never thought he'd be back in WWE. Did we? Did we think at some point he would? I didn't.
No.
So I think I got a sell. So I'm gonna debut this one.
I don't like it. I love it.
Okay, so there's that one.
That's very
Let me
cool.
know. Yeah, let me know how you feel about that one. And then I got this one.
Ooh. Okay.
So let me know.
We got a soulful. We got kind of a soulful one, which I like. We got a kind of a pop one, which I like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm down. I like that.
Let me know.
I like that. Let me see what some people have said. Derek saying sell. Conrad says sell. Get ready for those. Is that an AJ Lee reference? Says Misfit. John G says sell. Dylan says sell. James Grant says sell. Looks like everybody's selling this. Sell. It says Rare Kitty. Sell. It says Liam. Happy early birthday, Jeremy. Nathan says sell. Amicus 624. Hello, by the way, says sell. CM Punk returns in WWE and AEW are legendary. Jason says sell. Tony says definite sell. And don't hate me, I love Bray, but this is way bigger than that. Raymond says no sell. Okay. We have one no sell there. Clown says buy. Difficult because the AEW debut is legendary. Kyrie's return to WWE was also a seller. Sell, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. Wish they wouldn't have done it with the return of Randy at the same time. That's my only thing. As much I don't want to admit it. Hello, Jesse. I feel I can at least partially sell it. Both fantastic. This is an easy sell. Dancing and some Commodores, easy like Sunday morning. Top return after the way he left. No one expected it, especially getting fired on his wedding day. This one hits on a different level. Two types of returns. The others that are bigger, says Raven. Well, Raven, let us know. Which ones do you think are bigger? Let us know. Tazzy says sell because of the new age of wrestling where it's hard to have surprises because of social media. Honestly, this is too easy to sell. WWE return, so many did not expect. Yeah, I really didn't need to be convinced. I have to sell this too. It is one of the biggest returns of all time in wrestling, no doubt. And I've seen some real big ones.
Oh, yeah.
I still think for me, Jericho, the Y2J thing is up there for me. That one was amazing because of the lead up to that, because of what they were doing and stuff like that to lead to that. The Bray one was tremendous and how they went about that. I love, and like people are bringing up in the chat, I love the surprise aspect of this. And the Bray one plays into that too. And you know what's funny? I think after the Bray one happened, a lot of us had said, and we may have said that on this show, that we kind of hope. Now, obviously, his was led up to with the whole social media stuff, right, and the White Rabbit and all that kind of stuff. But we kind of said that we hoped that this would be the kind of thing that they would do when they have returns. Do these kind of like, make it a surprise, make it a big kind of huge thing, and nobody knew that he was coming back that night, right? And that's what happened here. That's what makes these things amazing, and that's what makes them worth remembering. And it is so hard to do that. So hard to do that with everything out there, cameras and this and that. Everyone in the world has a camera on them at all times. In a big arena, to pull something like this off, you have to give them credit for it. And it is definitely up there with one of the biggest returns of all time. He had two of them. CM Punk was lucky to have two of them. I watched the one in AEW with the ice cream bars and all that kind of stuff. That was huge as well. I mean, humongous return there. The crowd pop was tremendous. Again, in Chicago, he was going into the crowd and all that kind of stuff. So he was lucky to have two of these in that span of time. It's got to be just an amazing feeling for the athletes that have this, because just the roar of the crowd and that energy that they feel, but this is an easy sell for me. I definitely think the way the question is worded is definitely one of the, we're not saying it's number one, but the question is just saying it's one of the top returns of all time. And without a doubt, I think it is, without a doubt. No question. So
I mean, I'm seeing this a lot in the chat too, and I just want to say Bray's return for me hit on an emotional level
for sure,
as well as just an overall just awesome wrestling moment. But it was just a different, I was tied to that moment in a different way. But I mean, this moment was phenomenal. But you also got to throw in Cody. His return was great.
Yep.
There are many more. So one of the top, one of the best. Not the top of my list, but one of the best.
Yeah, no doubt. And it seems like most people agree. And like I said, those of you who don't, please tell us please tell us which ones you think are, or tell us why. Tell us why you don't agree. And we're not gonna berate anyone for their opinion. That's your opinion, and that's why everyone is special, that they have their own. So, all right. We have a second question tonight, and of course, it kind of ties into this too. But Jeff, WWE, look at that bird. Look at the bird. WWE will deliver a big. Oh no, wait. Does that wait?
Never mind. I didn't change the thing. It's
okay. I was gonna say, because I have the notes in here. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is supposed to be this.
Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. I had my kids and I'm working off a little sleep.
Yeah, Jeff is toughing it out here. This is supposed to be the Seth Rollins reaction is working towards a storyline. The Seth Rollins reaction. So the way he reacted, if you did not see this, I told you earlier in the show, Seth had to be basically restrained when he saw Punk and was kind of flipping him off there, jabbering to him. Corey Graves was there. Michael Cole was there, kind of trying to restrain him from what looked like he wanted to run up that aisle after him and go right after him. So does this Seth Rollins' reaction, is this working toward a storyline? So in other words, saying it in other terms, is this all a work? Is this all part of a plan, of a greater plan that these two are going to get together? Maybe it's going to be at WrestleMania next year. Could it be night one, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for Seth's title? That there's more and more news going around that Seth has to go back to work now on that movie he's going to be in, a Marvel film. He's going to play a villain in the next Captain America movie. He's got to go there and do that. Now the actor strike is over, so he's got to maybe take some time off at some point. So do we see that? But does this end up being part of a storyline? Is this working toward a storyline? Sell or no sell? I will say I am going to sell it, but
I don't like it. I love it.
I'm going to sell it. But I also say, I like that actually. I'm going to say that there is a lot of sometimes storylines reflect truth.
Mm.
And in this case, I do think that they're going to play into that. Seth is a wrestler's wrestler. Seth is a professional wrestler. He's a true pro. He's been around the block. So what does Seth do when he sees him? I don't know if you know, but these guys have a history. If you haven't been watching that far back, you may not know that, but they certainly do. He had every right to kind of react the way that he did. And you don't think that he doesn't have that in the back of his mind, even if it was true and he was told about it ahead of time, which they said there were a couple people that were. Seth is going to make this into a situation where he's going to use it as a storyline. Okay, if this is how we're going to go, then fine. I'm going to start it out. It's going to start on my terms, not CM Punk's terms. He's not going to come out and call me out on Monday Night Raw because I'm going to do this. Now, it's not on camera. It wasn't part of the show, but he damn well knows there's cameras everywhere. He darn well knows this is going to get shown. He's not stupid. Far from it. So, is it leading into a storyline? Absolutely. Absolutely. We didn't know which way Seth was going to go next anyway. He just had the match with Drew. Where is he going to go? I mean, maybe the better question is, where does Damian Priest factor into all this? Because they're running out of time with that briefcase. He only has so many more opportunities where he can cash that thing in. So where does that happen? You know, maybe Seth is cost the title by CM Punk. I don't know. But either way, this is definitely leading to something. So I sell this. No doubt. I think it's leading to something. So let's see here. People are connected to different wrestling to feel this way for CM Punk. We're still at the returns. I'm kind of behind here, but let's see. Okay, Alexa Bliss Gamer is saying sell. Deanna says sell. Misfit says sell. James Grant says sell. 100% a word. Blue Chew, hello, says sell. Mark says I'll sell it. But here's the reason why I say that I don't think it was completely done by surprise, because you still had some fans chanting CM Punk's name before he came out. Possible sell, says Little Silver. Dylan says sell. Conrad says sell. John G says sell. Trips and Tony's cousin truly delivered the goods in the Survivor Series War Games. Overall, it's a sell. Liam says sell. Amicus says he abstains until Monday. Barry says sell, all story driven. Conrad said this is the storyline if I had to guess. When you see Michael Cole holding you back, you can tell it's a work. Sell, I think, for Mania. Could you imagine if we get WrestleMania where it's night one Seth Rollins and CM Punk, and night two Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes?
Oh,
really kind of makes me regret I didn't buy tickets to the Philadelphia WrestleMania.
Right.
It really kind of makes me regret that. Oh man, you want to talk about making history? Good Lord. Sell, Seth is too professional to act like this and it not be a work. Tazzy says major sell. No sell for now because I'm assuming it's a shoot, says Brandon. Okay. All right. Interesting in hearing AJ Styles' thoughts about Punk's return, says Nick. Oh, yeah, right. Rare Kitty says sell. Has to be a work because Triple H did say the talent in the War Games match found out about it. Yeah, he did. He did say that. He did say that some of them found out an hour before. Yes. I think it's a little bit part of both part story, part hate. I don't know if it's fair to give CM a belt already. It's a work shoot, says Misfit. Seth is too professional to act like that. Seth may feel about Punk like Dr. Dre did about Eazy-E 1993, but in wrestling, the best stories are based on reality, and this is a moneymaker without question. So Phil and Colby throw down. He'll work it, but he doesn't like the dude. Good use of social media. Yep. Smart. Very smart. Jeff.
Yep.
What do you got, man?
Real simple. I'm gonna sell it. It's a work shoot. Listen, I think to understand this, Seth Rollins did a great interview on Logan Paul's podcast, and he talked about being able to put differences aside and everything being about business. Everything that we've seen up to this point with Seth Rollins, especially in this run at this part of his career, has shown that he's about business. He's about getting he's about getting what's best for the WWE out there right now. That's his focus. That's his intent. So I think that I don't think that I don't think these guys like each other. And you know what? That's okay. Because in the real world, every day we work with people we don't like and we have to deal with it. The same thing can happen in wrestling. It is possible, folks. There are wrestlers that have hated each other's guts and have delivered some of the best programs you've ever seen.
No doubt.
So, again, I just think that we have to step back for a moment, think outside of the tribalism and just think, okay, these folks are about making money. The difference, I think, not to get into the whole AEW WWE thing because I don't want to get into that, but I think that at this point the WWE is a machine. It churns. It just keeps churning. And we're going to get to where we think WWE is right now in the next segment. But honestly, it's got to be about business. The one thing, so I forget who tweeted this and I responded, but I said, one of the best things in wrestling is when reality and storyline, when those lines are blurred and we don't know which side it leans on more. That's some of the best stuff that we can get as wrestling fans. That's some of the best product that the company will create is when the fans don't know, and sometimes maybe the folks backstage don't know, like, are these guys really about to throw down? That's what makes it the most appealing. It makes it the most exciting is when those lines are blurred. And I think that's where we are right now. And we're not even in 2024 yet. And I'm thinking this might be one of the feuds of the year next year.
Yeah. No question about that. Alicia saying Punk and Roman. Interesting. Very interesting. Punk versus Rollins. Book it, says Aaron. AJ Styles contract coming up. Seeing that TNA is coming back, I can see him going there to finish his career off. Maybe. No sell. Seth is a pro, says Derek. Have a feeling WrestleMania 40 will be the greatest WrestleMania in terms of a card. WWE might be. And like I said, I really regret not getting a ticket now. Really do. There were two really wonderful things that came out of this. One, now we know that CM Punk is not the devil. And two, apparently, someone said he's going to retire. His name starts with R, has a Y in it, and a CK at the end, if you don't know.
Did you say DICK? Oh,
yeah. I could have. I was trying to be. Okay. Yeah, I could have. I was being kind. But he
I didn't hear the first part. I just heard the CK, and I just figured you.
Oh man, he did say that he would retire. So two really good things that came out of the whole thing, and that wasn't exactly that. WrestleMania 40 possible card: Becky versus Rhea, Jay versus Jimmy, Rollins versus Punk, Cody versus Roman 2, Gunther versus Lesnar, LA Knight versus Logan Paul. My God, look at that! Could you imagine? Look at that, dude! Look at that. Insane. Can you imagine if all that was on there? That'd be insane.
That would be
insane. CM Punk and Kevin Owens. Oh yeah. Listen, man, everybody's gonna have fun now. Fantasy booking for the next few days until Raw comes about and finds out where it's going to go. Some people are still saying Shinsuke may be involved somehow, and that he was talking to one Mr. Punk. So maybe he comes down, and I don't know. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a starter feud. If they're gonna go to the Seth thing, they may not go to that right away. They might have a little bit of a in between kind of a feud, and maybe that's Shinsuke to start off with CM Punk. So, which would be very interesting as well. Shinsuke is very, very good. So, it'd be interesting to see if that's going to be. All right, moving on. We've got our burning question, I think, here, Jeff.
Yeah, we do. We do. We have our burning question of the week. This is honestly, Joe, this is becoming one of my favorite segments.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Because we get some good questions. So
Yep.
This one is a good one here. What are your thoughts on WWE after Survivor Series, Joe?
Oh man, I mean, you have to be. I don't know. You'd have to be kind of crazy not to be looking at it like it's just getting bigger. I mean, when you listen to the post match presser, Triple H is kind of saying that it doesn't matter what they have to do; they're just going to keep making the product better and better and better, and they're just going to keep going up and up and up, and that's, I'll tell you. I think one of the things that we saw in the past, it does seem that WWE, and maybe it was because there was no competition out there, right? Maybe it was because they were the only game in town, no pun intended. But it just kind of seemed like they wanted to rest on their laurels, knowing that, hey, we're the best. Nobody can compare to us. We're the absolute best. So we're just going to keep churning out product. And if it's great, fantastic. If it's not, it doesn't really matter because we're the only ones in town. I'm seeing with Triple H and obviously Shawn Michaels in NXT and others that I don't think they're satisfied with that anymore. I think that they're more, if there's anything about Triple H and about Shawn, I think that they are just more in tune with the fans. I think they just know more what the fans want. Now, I don't know whether it's do they read social media? Do they read comments out there? Do they get comments brought to them? Do they have social media advisors who are advising them of what the fans are saying? Or is it just a feel that they get? I don't know. But it just seems as if the two of them, oh, and by the way, do you know who was supposedly in the building yesterday? Stephanie McMahon was in the building yesterday.
He was.
Interesting. Who wouldn't want to see Steph come back and give the women's division that just maybe that little extra kick, similar to like the direction that the men are going, the whole roster are going with Triple H and with Shawn. But yeah, I just to me, Jeff, the thoughts after, obviously all positive things. I don't think you could come out of that with any negativity last night. I really don't. I mean, unless you're just a negative type of person, and you just find negativity with whatever it is. But I think this is just it. Everything I think that's coming out of this show last night is just a positive for the wrestling business overall. And I'm not just saying it just because of the CM Punk going to WWE or the return of Randy or the return of R Truth. I'm saying it just for the fact that this was not spoiled. That is fantastic. And that is huge for the wrestling business overall. Huge. If they could do more of that, give that to me, because that's what I want. I want to be surprised in wrestling. That is such a huge thing that I want that to be. I want that to happen. So my thoughts are all positive. I can't find anything negative about it. It's going to be positive for what we might see. We're all obviously already booking WrestleMania, so it's going to be fun for that. It's going to be fun for the matches. It's going to be fun for the interactions, the possible interactions you're going to get between wrestlers. It's going to be fun to see too. If you're an AEW fan, it's going to be fun to see now. Punch, counterpunch. AEW threw some haymakers. They signed Will Ospreay. Huge. Will Ospreay is fantastic. You guys know what I think of him. fantastic. They signed Ronda Rousey. Big, big. I mean, look, like her or not like her, hate her or like her. She's a fantastic athlete. So punch, punch. Now we got counter punch. So what's the next punch? I mean, does someone go back over there? You know, we had a little punch, of course, too, with Edge, right? Now, does someone maybe not kind of like what's going on in WWE a little bit? Maybe they get released from their contract and you get another counter punch. Conrad brought it up right there. WWE needs AEW and AEW needs WWE. They do, because it makes it better for everyone. Like whatever it is you enjoy, it makes it better across the board. And that's my thoughts on WWE, Jeff, after Survivor Series. I think it's just onward and upward. Next year, they have so many cool things planned. They're going overseas to all of these places next year. They are just absolutely killing it. And like I said, I just think now that maybe Vince is out of the picture, I think that they are going to be more in tune with their fans and with what the fans want. And I think that's a great thing.
Yep, I agree. I think that what we have to do is really think about the last several months for WWE and how things have gone under Triple H. And they've been on an upward trend. And I think at this point, they're like, okay, we want to make this thing, feel new, exciting, bring back people that maybe left a long time ago, really get into the news, make those headlines, splash those front pages or whatever it is. I mean, we're old, so not newspapers anymore, but whatever. They want to be seen. They want to be talked about. Triple H brought it up in the press conference. CM Punk, whether you love him or whether you hate him, he gets talked about.
Yep.
His name is out there.
Yep.
He is a conversation starter.
Mm-hmm.
People have opinions on him. Mm-hmm. You can talk to wrestling fans who haven't watched in 10 years and they have an opinion on CM Punk.
Yep.
That tells you all you need to know. So I think they've been doing well for a while now. And one of the things I want to give WWE credit on and really kind of call out some of the fans. So there was a while ago where people were talking about, well, the only thing WWE has going is Roman Reigns. They're just pushing them down our throats, right? Then all of a sudden you get LA Knight, you got Cody, you've got Seth. You've got the Judgment Day kind of finally starting to get in the good graces of some people, or some people are like, okay, well, I can tolerate them a little bit more. They're creating all of these storylines and stars right in front of your eyes, and then people still have negative stuff to say. Like they're not relying on one storyline anymore. Mm-hmm. They're just not. I mean, you may get. I mean, obviously on Raw tomorrow night, we know what we're gonna get tomorrow. But I mean, let's be honest. You can get a Judgment Day final segment. You can get, Damage Control. I mean, you name it. There's so much variety in the show now, and there's so many different people, and it feels fresh and new because they're not relying on the same person.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Again, I think that they're doing an excellent job. I think they will continue to kind of up the ante a little bit. And I'm going to say this in terms of the punch counter punch thing. And I mean no disrespect when I say this, so please don't take it that way. But this feels to me like Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon absolutely trying to annihilate the other. What can I do to get in the headlines more? What can I do to make the splash that gets the fans to watch my product more? And I mean, again, I think this is a big deal. I mean, CM Punk returning is a big deal, honestly. I mean, let's be real about it. It's a huge deal. So again, if you're gonna stay in that arms race, what do you do if you're AEW? Here's another thing I'm gonna say. What do you do, TNA? Because there's a momentum shift.
Yep.
And hey, don't get left out in the cold. And I don't think they will. I think they'll do the things that fit their show and fit their product, which is great. But I will say, if that's your strategy, make sure everything else is top notch, which I'm sure it will be. I've got all the faith in the world, but I would like to see them land at least, like, I mean, I think they got to get a big name at this point. If they're relaunching like they are, I think they got to get someone that makes that splash, that makes people say, "Oh, whoa, okay, let me check this out." So, but yeah, I like this question.
Yeah.
I feel like we gotta start. I've been in that kind of mood lately where I just really want to give people shout outs that, that deserve them, and call things as they are. And so I've got to give them a lot of credit. I've given them a lot of grief, given WWE a lot of grief. There was a time where it was very, very unwatchable. Not all that long ago, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If we're really being real about it, and that has turned around. So got to give it credit.
How many times were we complaining on our show, even over the past course of maybe 2 or so years, that Raw was way too long? They had
Yeah,
to cut it because the third hour was awful, or the second hour was awful. Yeah, listen,
we were here trying to come up with creative ways to split up that time. Like,
yeah,
how would you divide Raw? How would you produce it?
yep.
You know,
There were times when we've done watch-alongs for Raw that we were just trying to conversate about any old thing because it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, it has 100% gone, a different direction and improved. The comment about TNA, Jeff and I were talking about that a little bit earlier too. The fact that they're doing a restart, they do need something. And I think I mentioned the same thing as somebody mentioned in the chat. Who was it? James, was it James? Somebody mentioned up above, a little bit above. Anyway, was it James Grant? Might have been, but mentioned Mercedes Monet. That is a huge get for them, and would be a smart get for them, because they really spotlight and hold their knockouts division to a higher esteem than even the men, I think, in that company. So that might be the way to go if they're going to do that. Get the knockout, get the big free agent knockout for your knockouts division, and make that even better. And then you'll still have that. Jeff and I say this all the time. They have the best women's division going, and make it better. Bring her in as the big signing and make that knockouts division even better. Focus on that even more. That's a great idea. I think great idea, because the men signings, you've got some of the free agents floating around there from WWE. Dolph Ziggler would be a great one, although I think he's heading to AEW just because his brother is there. So that just seems like a logical place for him to land. But some of those other names aren't that big splashy kind of a name that you would think that they would need. So I would think that, but Mercedes would be a huge get for them, and like Jeff said, I do agree. I kind of think now, it's like, okay, next turn up. What do you got? What do you got? What are you going to do? Because if you want to stay and you want to hang, they're always saying you want to hang with the big dogs, and you're going back under that TNA name again. You're not just Little Impact anymore. you've got to make a splash. You've got to make a splash. So so we'll see. Now we'll see what their counterpunch is going to be. What are they going to do to try to get the viewers over there, to try to get some people over there? So it's just this whole thing and this whole night really can be summed up as it's just a fun night. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan. It just is. It just is. And sure, you're still going to have the naysayers and the complainers and the people that bitch and moan, but that happens no matter what. You can have all sunshine, rainbows. Everybody could have a full bank account and you'd still have people complain. It's just how the way people are sometimes. But yeah, this is just a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. But I just want to see more like this. I want to see more like this. The competition is fantastic. If it breeds both of them being better, then I'm all for it. And mostly, I want to see man take notes and find out ways to keep this stuff hidden, because we don't need to know. We don't need to know. It's better to be surprised. So cool stuff. Good stuff. All right. I think we got our favorite moments, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite moments. So,
Gee, I wonder what our number one might be.
Yeah. I wonder what that could be.
Oh boy. Play along in the chat. 3, 2, 1. You know how this goes. These are our favorite moments of the past week in wrestling. We will go number 3, number 2, number 1. So obviously we didn't get a new Impact show on this week. It was just a repeat. It was the Thanksgiving Day episode stuff. So nothing really there to pull from here. We have, of course, a Raw, an NXT, and a SmackDown. And of course, we have the AEW stuff as well. So let us know, what were your 3 favorite moments in wrestling this week? They could all come from one certain place, and I could probably tell you a lot of them are probably going to. So Jeff, let's start us out. What do you guys have in the chat? Play along and we'll read them out. But Jeff, what's your number 3 favorite moment of the week?
Number 3 moment of the week for me this week is honestly the the turkey suit from Impact.
Nice.
It made me laugh.
Oh man.
And my kids loved it. And it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's my number 3.
You know what? I'm probably going to agree with you on that one, because I had almost forgotten it was on, and then somebody reminded me on the socials. I'm like, oh damn, I have to watch that. I put it on, and oh my god, dude, seeing AJ Styles having to put that on, I was dying. I was cracking up laughing. That thing has got to be one of the worst, and it almost looks like it's like the way that thing's set up. If you guys didn't watch that show, the way the turkeys, what is that thing called? That red thing that's on their face? I can't remember. But the way that almost goes down to the leg, like, oh my god, that thing is the absolute worst. And the fact that these guys have to put that on when they lose those matches, that was a really fun show. If you didn't watch that, and you watch Impact and stuff like that, go check it out. It's really, really fun. It was just 2 hours of that. How about seeing Mick Foley right off the bat in that show? Mick Foley was like the lead off. My wife was kind of watching it. She's like, wow, is that Mick Foley? And I'm like, yeah, but this is a while ago. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you on the number 3. I love that. I think that's great. And again, this is a lot of the reasons why I like Impact. They give you a chuckle sometimes, and we're going to have that again this coming Thursday. So please come and join us for IPWF, because it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. So come out. Sometimes you just need that, right? It's nothing of any consequence. There's no matches that you need to have to see for storyline purposes. It's just something fun. So just come out and watch it. But yeah, that's my number 3 too. I like that. I really thought that was funny. All right, let me see what we got here for number 3.
There's some good ones in the chat.
Yeah, I can see that. A lot of people are voting. Thank you. James Grant says, number 3 favorite moment of the week was the announcement of Randy being the 5th member of War Games. Cody did great in hyping the fans up. Yeah, that's true. He did. That was really, really good. Number 1, seeing AJ Styles wearing a turkey suit again. Okay, maybe not. Number 3 was CM Punk, says Alicia. Okay. Number 3, Orange Cassidy bringing Danhausen back. Yeah, how about the return of Danhausen? I did see that too. I love Danhausen. I think he's amazing. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Yeah, it was cool. I love the graphic and stuff like that they showed for that. It was really, really neat. So good to see him back. I know he was hurt a while, so it's good to see him come back. Brandon says number 3 is R Truth's return. Danhausen's return and R Truth's return, 3A and 3B. Orton and Punk are the top merch sellers on WWE Shop. Oh, I don't doubt it. R Truth returning, but he didn't have any merch on, which was a little weird. Just a plain t-shirt. R Truth returning was number 3. Randy return, says John G. Alex Shelley says Bonkers. Women's War Games match, says Alexa. Mark Briscoe versus John Moxley from Dynamite. Yep. I remember that AJ Styles in it. Oh, God, it was so funny. Blue Chew's given us all 3. Orton cleared was his number 3. Seth Rollins video, says Aaron. My number 3 is WWE's Liv Morgan and AEW CJ Perry's Thanksgiving shopping. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I did not see that. I'll have to check that out. Some dude named Phil Brooks showed up. Return of R Truth, says Tazzy. Becky and Charlotte legit reconciling at Survivor Series reminded me of the Edge Christian hug, if I recall, the 2021 Royal Rumble. Conrad says both War Games matches. Misfit says Randy Orton's return. Liam says TNA Recap Classic Turkeys episode. Triple H has a press conference. Get R Truth his flowers. Say best return Santos Escobar on SmackDown. Dalton says Punk's return tops everything. AJ Styles and Alex Shelley putting on the turkey suit. Robert Stone and Eli Drake was on that Thanksgiving show on Impact. The start of the Continental Classic on AEW, says Mark. Okay, Jeff, what is your number 2?
All right, I'm going to cheat because we can. I'm going to not only am I going A and B, but I'm also going C. So I'm going A, B, and C.
Okay.
So I'm going to go C first, and that's the entirety of War Games of Survivor Series. I thought I enjoyed the entire card. I thought the War Games matches were incredible. Dragon Lee, watch out. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Santos Escobar is. I'm loving the fact that we're getting heel Santos right now.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Good stuff. But so then B, I got to go again with the War Games matches. I thought they were great. Tied at A for me. Randy Orton, R Truth. That's tied for me up there. It's hard to pick between all of them, but Randy Orton and R Truth returning is just great to see. So I'm really, really excited to see them back. I thought Survivor Series was great, and yeah, I really enjoyed all the matches. So thought it was good.
Yeah. My number 2. Man, I could probably easily go an A and a B and stuff here too. I'm going to go with the return of R Truth, man. I'm going to group this in, but I'm just going to say, because everybody's saying that the War Games matches were both fantastic. I'm just going to group this in with last night. But I'm going to say, loved seeing R Truth back. I know it didn't get a lot of the hype and stuff like that. And unfortunately it fell on a night where there were just 2 other major returns, but man, I like this guy. And I've said this many, many times before. I've said it on this show, because he just has that kind of thing that really makes you laugh. And sometimes in wrestling, you just need it. And I think that it's much needed. I don't know what he's going to be doing. I don't know if we're going to see him a lot on camera. I really don't know. But it's just wonderful to see him back. I think he's a great human being, and great for the backstage presence and stuff like that. And sometimes you just need a person back there that can do that kind of thing. And so, the matches overall, last night's event was fantastic. The return of R Truth, and you can even group Danhausen into that as well, because Danhausen's another guy too. Danhausen can make people laugh, dude. I cracked up laughing watching a monologue from Danhausen that he did on his Twitter a few years ago. That was just absolutely hysterical. And so he's another one of those people, and wrestling needs that. It absolutely needs that. And so two wrestlers I really, really both like and respect for what they do. And both of them coming back was both great things. That's a big theme. A lot of comebacks this week on our top moments of the week. So, yeah. So that's my number 2. Let me see what other people have as their 2s here. Let's go back. Let's see. Number 2, the return of Randy Orton. Says James. Number 2, R Truth and everybody doing the Ruffles shuffle. Oh God, it's priceless. My number 2 is the War Games matches. Man, we got to get Regal again saying that next year, I hope. Number 2, CM Punk's return was Alexa Bliss Gamer. Number 2, the women's and men's matches. CM Punk's return, number 2. War Games matches, says John G. Io Sky in a trash can. Oh my gosh, that was so good, wasn't it? So good. And Tazzy, number 2, Io Sky trash can spot. Number 2, a return of CM Punk in WWE. Well, Tony Khan goes radio silent on X. 2, Violent J rapping Bussy out at GCW on Friday. Nice, clown. Okay, little GCW. We don't get a lot of that here. Very nice. Randy Orton returns, looked absolutely fantastic, and it was like he never missed a beat, and I'm sure Bray was on his mind. Continental Classic Tournament, love the sport feel, says Conrad. Christian Cage rechristening Luchasaurus to Kill Switch, and the whole segment ending with Adam Copeland giving Nick Wayne a concerto in front of Nick's mom, says Nathan. Very cool. Very nice moment there. Yeah, awesome. The return of CM Punk, Io Sky, the Genius War Games dropping off the cage with a garbage can on her head. Women's War Games, Io's trash can spot, Kyrie's back fist with the trash lid was nasty. Santos Escobar and Carlito SmackDown segment, said Rare Kitty. All right, respect that. Yeah, I kind of like that, man. Carlito's always cool. Of course, he's cool. Kyrie Sane was fantastic last night. Gunther defeats Miz. CM Punk back in WWE. Just ran my trash out. Yep, there's a full moon out. A trash can. Io Sky asked me last week if I'd have said Santos wanting Rey Mysterio's leg amputated. Oh, yeah, that was kind of nasty, wasn't it? Yeah. I hope they amputate your leg. Yeah, that was pretty rude. Return of CM Punk, War Games, Christian Cage. Randy's return was number 2. All right, man. What do you got, Jeff, as your number 1?
Well, I mean, I think we all can assume what my number 1 is, but my number 1 is CM Punk returning to WWE. I, for one, did not think it was going to happen. When there were rumblings out there, I said, well, maybe they'll do it at the Rumble. But then you start thinking about everything and, all the math and 2 + 2 and all that stuff just adding up. It just made so much sense for him to debut last night. And it was funny. Me and JJ were kind of watching the tail end of it, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll go to bed now. And I was like, wait, don't go anywhere just yet. I just had a feeling that something big was going to happen, and it did. And it was awesome. And seeing all the reaction online, good, bad, and indifferent, honestly, it's so cool to see how much wrestling is being talked about.
Yep.
Last night and today, and it's going to be that way for a while now. I mean, this is really a great time to be a wrestling fan. So I hope you all enjoy it. And, for those who feel the need to be negative and nasty and all that stuff, get a life. Like it's not that serious. Like it's really not. This is entertainment. We're here to have fun. So yeah, let's do that. Let's focus on that.
Wrestling overtook the sports world today, which is crazy on an NFL Sunday. This is up, by the way.
Okay.
He's got a shirt. CM Punk logo on the back says CM Punk, of course, and on the front it says it's just a Survivor Series logo on the very bottom. So that is out there in the WWE shop. My number one moment of the week was eating crow. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna swerve you a little bit. Obviously, the big moment last night, but for me, my number one moment was the fact that no one knew. No one got spoiled. It wasn't ruined. That was such a big thing, I think. Because, like I said, of course, speculation was all over the place. Everyone was speculating, even from the time when people knew that, people kind of had this marked on their calendar, knowing that this was going to be in Chicago when CM Punk was let go by AEW. So people were speculating, of course, but no one knew. And I think, man, is that a big step. I really do. That is a really big step in wrestling. And you can see the same joy that the people in the arena got to feel was also shared by people that were watching at home. And that is absolutely fantastic. That is why we watch. That is why Jeff and I do this show. That is why this is entertainment. And man, when this works, it is just so off the charts. So off the charts when it works. And I really wish that this happens more and more and more, because this is what you guys got. You guys got a little taste of what we grew up with, because we didn't have all this stuff. We didn't have the social media and all this other stuff to spoil things. We just had to wait. And so you got a little taste of that. And I really, really hope you get more. I really do, because I think it belongs as part of wrestling. I really do. And yeah, if I have to give a 1B, of course it's Randy Orton. Yeah, of course it's Randy Orton. Randy's just truly, like I said earlier, I've said everything I could say about Randy. He's a legend of the business. Truly amazing to see him come back, take those couple of first bumps, because that's got to be scary. Got to be scary. And the fact that he was able to do that and get up and stuff like that is just tremendous. And Randy is just awesome. One of the best of all time. So, all right. Bonus babies. I think that might have been what Jeff was chuckling about. Joe saying I was yeah. Punk look legit happy to be back. Punk LOL is number one. Yeah, it looks like that's a big consensus of opinion. Alicia says number one was Randy Orton. Yeah, okay. Totally get that. CM Punk returning shows again. Never say never in pro wrestling, and the fantasy matchups write themselves. Gets people talking and draws eyes, and that's what Triple H is counting on. Alicia, he was looking delicious. Deanna. Oh, I already ordered it, says Tazzy. Tazzy got the t-shirt coming. He must have come to the arena disguised as DoorDash. I'm bringing McDonald's. My favorite thing is we no longer have to hear the CM Punk WWE return rumors anymore. That, and you don't have to hear that the CM Punk is the devil rumors. Yes, I totally agree. That's good. Slow down the footage of Punk in his car leaving. You hear a fan say, kick Rollins' ass. If you try hard reading Punk's lips, it looks like he said, when I win the Rumble. Nice. Well, good catch there. Wow. Okay. Jesse says, number one, Randy Orton returns in the way that they did it. Triple H might win Booker of the Year. Kind of, yeah, I might be wrong, Misfit, but I kind of think that he may not really care too much about it. I mean, who knows? Maybe he does. But honorable mention, timeless Tony Storm's Oscar speech moment as AEW Women's World Champion.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I watched that. Yeah, it was really funny. She's really good at that. That's a really great gimmick. Whoever thought that up, really fantastic gimmick. Because remember where she was, when she was that interim champ, nobody really gave her much credit at all. And she wasn't really even wrestling that much and stuff like that from where she came. So brilliant character change, whoever came up with that with her. So Great stuff, guys.
Joe,
There you go.
look at your text message real quick.
Let me look. Yeah.
Okay.
Honorable mentions: Dominic getting jumped by Team Cody, Randy Orton giving JD an RKO from the top of the cage. That was
Oh, that was tremendous.
yeah, that
What
was
a
really
tremendous spot.
awesome. Michael Cole marked out big time.
Big time.
Big time marked out. Is he gonna do that? Is he gonna do an RKO from the? Yeah, dude, that's gonna bring back all those wonderful memes too, with Randy doing RKOs and all these other things. Like he gave Jaws, the one that had them giving Jaws an RKO in the water. Then there was one where he was giving an RKO to a plane in the sky and bringing a plane
Yep.
down. Those are awesome. If you haven't seen all those, yeah, those are really cool. Those are really cool. All right, guys. We are gonna look. Jesse. Jesse's in the house tonight. Jesse, I don't know if you came prepared, but being that we had the return of R Truth, maybe we need some funny in our lives here. And Jesse's really good at doing that. She does a spot on our show for us from time to time. Again, if you're not prepared, totally cool, totally understand it. But if you are, maybe you can. Maybe you can get us some impromptu jokes to finish up the show here with, we'll get everybody laughing as we're leaving in honor of R Truth's return, right? Like I said, because he's good at that kind of thing too. So if you're still out there, and if you have the time, or if you feel like doing that, I know Jesse's a mom, so sometimes that is difficult when you've got the little ones and stuff. So, but if you are, and if you want, and if you can, jump in. It doesn't have to be a lot. You just want to gather a couple up and send them out. Please do. Otherwise, we will just do a little bit of chatting here to finish up. First off, thank you all for coming out. Really, really appreciate that. Means a lot, really, to me and Jeff, because this show, wish that we just got to do it a lot more than we do. But this show is actually our bread and butter. It really is. This is where we came from, and we really enjoy doing this because we get to kind of be more of ourselves and have like a heart-to-heart chat with you guys, which is a lot of fun. And so thanks for coming out. This is one of the biggest crowds we've had for the show on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And really, really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. And I hope if you're new, I hope you'll come back. I hope you enjoyed the show and how we do it. We do normally have an airing of grievances segment, which a lot of people tend to like. But of course, we didn't do that this week because there really just wasn't anything to grieve about. It was just a lot of fun. And for those of you who are new, again, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We are approaching the 4K mark in subs on YouTube. Please subscribe, like the video as well. Liking is a big thing for any creator out there. If you enjoy a creator's content, like their video. It is so important, more than almost anything else you can possibly do. It really helps it be seen on YouTube. So please do that. And also please hit the notification bell to be notified about when we have future content, which, as I said at the beginning, our next show will be Tuesday. That will be Abby's Abode, of course, with Jody and Jeff. Getting back to the horror side of wrestling, and they'll talk about that bracket and who the winner and stuff like that, and when we're going to be having a watch along there, which we're going to be doing at some point soon. So make sure you join them for that, and then come back see me and Jeff on Thursday. Maybe Tazzy pops in as well, but we're going to do IPWF Thursday, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. That is the fake wrestling league. Shouldn't say fake, it's actual wrestling, but it's different characters that all the people in Impact play, and it is a blast, an absolute blast. If you haven't seen it, come out and watch it with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Saturday, we have a pay-per-view, folks. The last Impact pay-per-view of the year. It is Final Resolution. We've got Motor City Machine Guns versus Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr., among other matches. So come out and check that out with us. I think that is one that you can watch on there. Yeah. That is one that you can watch right along with us on YouTube. on Impact's YouTube channel. So come out, check that out with us. That is going to be their final one, and also big as well, because that's going to be their final one as Impact Wrestling as well. Because next when we see them, it will be in January, Hard to Kill, and that is when they will be TNA. So yeah, come out and check that out. That's what we've got going on for this coming week. Jesse is getting some stuff ready, so that's very cool. Jesse's jokes are back. See, wrestling's worst nightmare has returned. She said she's working on it. Just a few minutes. CM Punk is already liking WWE related posts on Instagram. Clown, thanks for having. No, you don't ever have to thank us, Clown, for having you.
Thank you.
It's quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Period. So thank you. There never need to thank us. We enjoy doing this, and we really are. We're really thankful that you're here. Final resolution is 12/9. Oh, it is. Is it 12/9? Did I get the date wrong? I could very well be. Oh, it is. You're right. Never mind. Not this week. It's next Saturday. Next Saturday. Ooh, that's actually a good thing, because I would have had a conflict, because I get to watch Kiss's last concert ever, which is on 12/2. So that's actually good. I'm actually glad that's the case. So 12/9, join us for that. Kiss is doing their final concert in Madison Square Garden, and I will I'll be watching that on pay-per-view that night. It's going to be a melancholy moment for me. Going to be very, very sad for me to watch one of my favorite bands ever play their last ever show. So yeah.
Lil Silver said, Jeff, get the TNA wrestling logo ready for 2024. And I said, I've got it ready, and some new music.
Oh,
Joe has heard new music. Tazzy's heard some of it, and Derek has had a chance to hear some of it. I'll let you guys kind of give your thoughts on the new music. But we got some fire coming.
We're going to be making some changes. Jeff's been busy. Jeff's been busy with all of the other stuff that he's doing for his actual work. But he's been busy getting some new things ready for you guys. You can see some of the new graphics and the way that they look here. But he's getting some stuff ready. So there's going to be some new stuff coming. Going to be some changes coming. As he says, he will be there. Cool. In lieu of a grievance, can I throw out thanks in this Thanksgiving season? Thank you all to those brave men and women serving throughout the world. You keep us safe so we can podcast about wrestling. Very true. Yeah, no, that's great. Yep. Being thankful about that is a wonderful thing. Charlotte did a moonsault in the EO dove in a trash can, so I really doubt that. They should get the guy behind that AEW explosion botched to blow up a giant Impact sign at the end of Final Resolution, symbolizing the changeover. What if Bayley gets kicked out and instead another unthinkable happens? WWE signs Mercedes and the 4 Horsewomen reunite to go 4-on-4 against the New Damage Control. I'd be okay with that. Eddie Kingston losing to Brody King shocked me in the Classic. I don't buy that they'll have their final show. I fell for that. Yeah, well, Misfit, I get you. They've said final tour and all that kind of stuff before, but I listen. They're in their mid-70s. You can only go walking around on stage for so long in armor. So it's I pretty much believe they're literally buying out parts of New York. For this, like literally the taxi cabs will have Kiss stuff on them. They're renting out tattoo parlors to paint people's faces. They are like going all out. The MSG show is going to be literally 4 blocks from where they first started. So 4 blocks away from where they first began in their apartment or whatever you want to call it, where they used to practice and where they came up with the name of the band and all that kind of stuff. So it is going to be the only thing I'm curious to see is whether or not Ace and Peter will be asked to be there, because I know they don't get along. It would be kind of cool if they had a final bout with them. I know that they can't play. Peter definitely can't, his arthritis and stuff like that, but it would be kind of cool if they all got together and just had a final bout. Let's see. Instead of grievances, I hope everyone did have a great Thanksgiving back on Thursday. Cyber Monday, yeah, I know I'm working it tomorrow. I'm working Cyber Monday. Yes, I'm about over this whole thing. I'll be happy when Tuesday comes around and I get my couple days off because I need it. Brody King is awesome. Isn't Cher still retiring? I'm more excited for Savage's new album than I am for Kiss's final show. Well, that's cool, dude. Whatever makes your day, dude. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. But I've been a fan of theirs since I was 8 years old. It's a long time for me. So, I've seen bits and pieces. They've been playing live their final things in each city, and I've seen some of the sets and stuff like that. The sets looks really awesome. No bonus. They interviewed. They were on Howard Stern recently, and it was just the thing that blurted out. Their original name for the band, believe it or not, was the F word. that was the original name. And Gene Simmons talked about how he said, "And listen, we had our first couple of albums planned out. The first album was called You. The second album was called It." So, and then all of a sudden, Paul was that they were sitting in a car together, and Paul just turned around and said, "Hey, what about Kiss?" And then it just kind of stuck. Do you know though? And this is insane. Do you know that nobody can sell any merch using the word Kiss? The word they have copyrighted. They told Howard they have copyrighted the word Kiss, which is insane. It's a word in the English language. Nobody can come out with merch like T-shirts or something, like if a company came out, like a clothing company came out with a line and the line was called Kiss. They can't. They literally would have to pay them for that, which is nuts. This is insane.
Oh man, I'm over here dying. So Conrad put up that's like the greatest thing ever. So
oh my god.
that is my workaround now. That's my workaround. So
you should literally send that to Gene Simmons. He'd probably love that. He probably would love that, dude. Well, dude, do you know how many times I got those papers from my mom? Oh my God. Growing up Catholic sometimes was very tough. My mom would come home with these like booklet papers that she would get from someone at the church and point out all these bands that I listened to and what their songs actually meant. Oh my God. When you got to the Kiss section, good Lord, dude, it was like a whole entire page. And the first thing it started off with this, she said, "Look at this. Do you know what their name means?" I said, Kiss? No, it means Knights in Satan's Service. And I'm like, oh God. and then all of the I'm like, oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. As a very young man, if I really wanted to upset my parent, like if they made me mad, I would go up in my house or in my house, my room. I had a room in the attic. Which was awesome. It was like my own little apartment, and I had a stereo back in the day, a rack system. Now, if you don't know what a rack system is, it was all components. So you had an amplifier, a double cassette player. I had a six disc CD changer, and it was all in this big wooden cabinet with a glass thing on the top, a turntable, and then I had these two monstrosity speakers that were almost as tall as me. Okay. And I had this up there, and if ever my mom got on my nerves, I'd fly up to my room, I'd lock my door, and I would turn on some Kiss Detroit Rock City, and I'd blast that sucker until the windows shook and the walls shook in the house. Oh my God, she'd be banging the door. Shut that up. I couldn't hear her. I just turned it up louder. Oh, the good old times being a kid in the 80s. Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. Knights and Saint. I know, isn't it crazy? That's great. They used to say if you listen to Led Zeppelin albums backwards, that you can hear you can hear stuff. Look, you can probably hear anything you wanted to if you listen to records backwards, and it's just how it is. So, yeah.
I don't make that a practice to play things.
No,
back.
I
The craziest I've ever gotten is syncing up Wizard of Oz and
I knew
Dark
you were
Side.
going to mention that. I still
That's-
haven't done that. I have to do
You
that.
gotta do it, man.
Yeah, I have to do that. I have to sync up Wizard of Oz with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, I have to do that.
You gotta do it.
I need to do that. I need to do that. The movie Detroit Rock City, I've seen it a bunch. Yeah, it was a good movie. A bunch of 4 guys getting together and trying to get Kiss tickets and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool movie. They were in another movie recently, and I didn't even know they were in it. Paul and Jean were in it in their makeup. It was it was a comedy about someone that was getting married, and the daughter was very rich, I believe, and she was marrying this guy who was not at all. And the actor who played him is famous, but Kiss ended up in the very last couple scenes in the film, and stuff. So yeah, I can't remember, but I ended up I saw that one night, and we're like, oh, Kiss. There's another good one too, where Paul Rudd is in it. And the guy from American Pie, one of the guys from American Pie, the one with the spiky hair, they're both in trouble with the law, and they have to do this thing where they have to be like big brothers to younger kids. And they both end up going to this role-playing game with the kids that they really didn't want to do, and they dress up as members of Kiss. And then Paul Rudd ends up singing a version of Beth at the end of the movie. It was really good. I can't remember the name.
Oh, that's Role Models.
Role Models. Yes, thank you. Yeah. That's a good one too. All right. I hope you guys like morbid jokes. You've done them before, Jesse, so hit us up.
Here's number one.
Number one. Forest and tries to cut down a talking tree. I think you meant to type something else there. You can't cut me down, the tree complains. I'm a talking tree. The man responds, you may be a talking tree, but you will die a log. Oh my God. Dialogue. Oh, that was good. Role Models, yeah. Thank you. That's a good movie. I really like it.
It's a good movie.
I've seen it a bunch of times. Oh man. Yeah, he sings Beth at the end. I actually had the pleasure of singing. My daughter is named Elizabeth, my oldest, and named her after that song, actually. And on her birthday, I remember we had a birthday party for her, and I had the privilege of singing that to her, which was really cool. It was a cool moment. Yeah, it was a cool moment. Dialogue. Oh God. See that? R Truth returns, and so does Jesse.
Yes, that's right.
Here we go. Here we go. Can't be a coincidence.
Look at Tazzy's reaction.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's
so funny. Oh, so funny. Oh man. Stupid thing, didn't realize I was missing there. It's all good. It was funny.
Yeah, we got it. It
was funny. She was just here. She was in for the holiday. She works for L'Oreal, the makeup company. And so yeah, she's does HR stuff for them. So she's got a really good job that keeps her very busy. Number 2, the story was about a funeral, but the plot had holes in it. Oh, Jesse and the morbid jokes.
She did say morbid, so
she did. She warned us.
She warned us. Fair warning.
James Grant said Jesse, a dark one. LOL. Oh man. No C wrestling critiquing tonight. He's probably sleeping. I don't blame him. It's probably late there. Oh gosh. What else is going on?
But you know what? Just because we don't have them here doesn't mean we can't put this oldie but goodie back.
There it is. Yes. With Waldorf and Statler and the Muppets. Yes, I love it. My skeleton puns are very humorous. Oh my gosh. TV this time of year is rough. It's a lot of Christmas stuff, which I don't mind it. But if you're a Marvel fan, I think we've got the animated stuff coming. The second season of the what the hell is it called now? I can't remember. But there's animated shorts that are coming up that they're going to show. They're all dark tonight. Seth was asked to attend a Living Color concert, and he declined, saying, "No thanks, I had my fill." Nice.
That's
That was very impromptu, very, very good, very, very clever, very clever. Did someone say Hugh Morris? What does a liar do after he dies? He lies still. Tassie's had enough. Oh my god. Oh,
I will say this, Joe. Going back to the wrestling, CM Punk did look refreshed, didn't he?
yeah.
He looked like he was refreshed, like he was kind of the weight had been lifted off a little bit.
Yeah.
Or am I reaching?
No, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. He looks a little more relaxed, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What If? Thank you, Dan. Yeah, the What If series, the animated series comes. Will is a dead giveaway.
Oh god.
These are very morbid, yes.
Very.
These are very morbid. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's funny. Oh man. Snoopy Come Home was just I like that one too. Yeah, I like that one too. That was a little sad. That made me sad though. I think when I was a kid. Snoopy Come Home. Yeah, because he got lost. Yeah, that made me a little sad. I remember when I first watched that one. Plus, it had that real sad song in it. That with the title of that. I heard Triple H was editor of the high school paper. His teacher said he had a real nose for news. Look at Dan coming up with the impromptu stuff here. All right. Yeah. Punk looked refreshed and looked somewhat happy. Not over happy, but he felt like he was in a better place. And the dead giveaway is pretty good, says Clown. Oh, Tazzie's dying. John G's dying.
Jesse, you have like two more, or
yeah, so we can get out of here so Jeff can go get some sleep before he has to go to work tomorrow. Me too. I don't usually work on Mondays. Damn it. I keep forgetting I have to be in tomorrow too. Cyber Monday. Woohoo. Wish I would have seen it. All right. At the boss's funeral, a disgruntled employee kneeled next to the coffin and whispered, "Who's thinking outside the box now, Gary?"
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow.
That's really horrible. that was really horrible.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh my God. Wow. James Grant's OMG. Oh my God. Oh man. Well,
wow.
Jesse, if you have one more, and then we'll close her up here so I can let Jeff go to bed and get myself some sleep too. All right, number 7. My music partner died while we were writing a new song. I guess he's now decomposing.
God. Oh, wow.
Good. They were good. Chris said I like that one. John G says OMG, LOL. I got to start training a new assistant manager tomorrow. Good luck. That's always fun. You mean I got to narrow it down to 2, Jeff? That was very dark. Wow. Not sure how to feel. Alicia says, brilliant. If you got one last one, Jesse, do one more and then we'll call it a night.
I'll just say it's been a long weekend.
Yeah. For me too. I've had the longest retail weekend of the year. I'm going on like next to no sleep too. I'm like delirious now from being there. One more. Yeah, you'll get one more and then we'll call it a
One
night.
more.
I was at the library and asked if they have any books on paranoia. The librarian told me, yes, they're right behind you.
That's a good one too.
Nice, Conrad.
What,
Nice.
Dan, what does Big Dan have? It
I'll
says,
have to remember that. Big Dan, a kid gets in trouble and his mother says, what would your father say if he was alive? The kid responded, help, let me out of this thing. I can't breathe. Oh my God. So bad. So morbid. So bad.
yeah, so good.
Funny though. Funny.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. Here's the last one, number 8. At his deathbed, Achilles realized that they were going to lose the war and uttered his last words, defeat hurts. That's kind of almost like a wrestling one too, because they use the eat defeat move. Yeah, brilliant. Oh man. Well, thank you, Jesse.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, they were funny. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, there you go. We sent you all home with a laugh. Just a good way to do that, right? A good way to end the night. Good way to do that. Appreciate Jesse for coming in here and doing that and keeping everybody laughing as we say good night. So, guys, again, thank you so much for coming out. Really, really appreciate it. Hope you had a good time tonight. We got our listen. It was a great weekend to be a wrestling fan, and I'm sure it's going to continue on Raw tomorrow night. Go and catch Tazzy's stream. By the way, tomorrow he's doing a Raw stream, so please make sure you head over to his channel and check that out. I know we'll be watching. I'll probably be tweeting about whatever's going on there, I'm sure, on our Insiders channel. Again, join Jeff and Jody on Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for Abby's Abode. And then, of course, come back and check us out on Thursday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be IPWF for Impact, which is always a blast and should be a really, really fun time as well. So come join us for that. And then we'll see you. We'll see you right here. We'll be right back here next Sunday to do it all over again. And I'm sure we'll be talking about Punk again next Sunday as well after what he has to say on Monday Night Raw. So join us next Sunday for Between the Ropes. We'll be right back here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. Please be kind to one another. And hopefully we will see you all again on our next show. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for coming. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we'll talk to you all soon. Good night, everybody.